Good day, everybody. It's the 18th of November, 2023, and it's a little bit afternoon, I guess, sometime maybe 1, something like that. And I'm at Gruszówka metro stop on the blue line right here. And as you see, this is kind of a new area as well. I guess you can tell it's new when the trees are very small. There's some spruce trees. And you see a crane up there, some cranes over there. There's actually cranes on top of that building because they're building over there as well. And there's some new buildings also down in the distance here. So it's a lot of new building in a lot of places in Minsk, actually. Well, what do I mean by a lot of places? I don't know. It depends on what I mean by a lot of new buildings, I guess. So I guess we're places where there's probably a lot of new buildings, meaning like more than 4 or 5 or something like that. I don't know how many areas there would be in Minsk where they're building. I've only discovered about maybe 4 places so far. So, some news. Now, the first thing I want to talk about, I want to mention that I'm not sure what's going on now about Gonzalo Lira. I had heard originally that his trial was supposed to be on the 10th of November, and then I was looking in the internet trying to find out if there was anybody reporting anything about that and what the results would be. And somebody wrote to me that I believe it was postponed up until the 20th of November, and today's the 18th, so that would mean Monday, since today is Saturday, that Monday he should have some kind of a trial. And if that same person watches this video, and if they don't mind, if they can post something on my site, on my channel, I guess you call it, to tell a lot of viewers what they know about whatever happens to Gonzalo Lira. So, I just want to be informed. A lot of people kind of threw him under the bus, and then some people are acting like they lost interest in him. And I didn't see anything bad about him. Not towards me anyway, and I don't really know if there's anything bad about him towards anybody, actually. I think a lot of people have really appreciated him, and he's done a lot of good things. I think before he was just putting out news from Ukraine, like being called the Red Pill Coach and all that sort of thing. So, and like I said, it's only positive things, so I don't see why people would even really trash him, and there's no way he was any kind of a Ukrainian spy. I won't even say who put that out. Even if it's good people putting these things out, they have maybe their beefs against Gonzalo Lira. Maybe part of that is Gonzalo Lira's fault, maybe a little bit. Maybe he said something wrong, how people can be. So anyway, just to let people know that, I'll probably put Gonzalo Lira and then put a question mark on my title of this video, just so people know. And if that's all you're interested in, is finding out something about Gonzalo Lira, if there is anything, you can go ahead and turn off the video right now or go somewhere else, because I'm just going to be talking about news, mostly Ukraine and what's going on in Israel. So, mostly. Okay. So let's get right into it here. Stoltenberg, old Stoltenberg, Jens Stoltenberg. Stoltenberg used to be the Prime Minister of Norway, I believe. But now he's the mouthpiece. I don't know what his official title is or something, but he's just a mouthpiece from the United States. Like so many other people are. They're just agents of the United States, just like Annalena Baerbock. It's terrible that that she's like a foreign minister of Germany, but she doesn't do that much for Germany. Seems like she has other interests in other places, in other countries, such as Ukraine. Maybe she should move to Ukraine or the United States or whatever, because she's just doing their bidding. She's just not doing the bidding of anybody in Germany. These are traitorous types of people. There's a lot of them around, I guess They're agents of masters of the universe. So, anyway, Jens Stoltenberg, he was bragging that because Putin, he said Putin, but he means Russia, I guess. I don't think he'd be that stupid. They wanted less NATO, and therefore they invaded Ukraine, and instead they got more NATO. And I guess he found a lot of joy in saying that. But what it really does tell you, it sounds like Yen is just admitting that NATO's goal is exactly what Russia has been emphasizing all the time, and that's the expansion of NATO. And of course, there's quite a few people involved in that. As a matter of fact, they have offices. They have offices dedicated to that in NATO, the expansion of NATO, to expand NATO. That's their whole goal, and they've been at it for a long time. And of course, why would they want to expand NATO? Is to neutralize Russia. Get into Russia, take over those resources, and control the resources. And of course, when you talk about NATO, you talk about the United States. So they want to make sure that they remain the masters of the universe and everybody else should be subjected to them. Ha 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 ha. As you know. No, she didn't look at me. So, of course, it's the United States government, the politicians, and they're actually just the mouthpieces of their investors and the bankers. And those people, I guess, what do you call them? The people that are putting them in political offices, the money people, to be working on their behalf. That's about all I got to say about that. And there's a lot more people that are talking about why is the UK government supporting Israel when they have so many Muslims and so many, not just Muslims, just Arabic types of people, because there's a lot of Christians, of course, in the Middle East as well. You can't forget that. You get caught up in this thing from the media telling you that they're all Muslims, and of course I'm sorry, I get sometimes act like that's true too. It's just like saying the Jews are doing this and that, but it's not really that. It's the Zionists, and there's very many Jews that are very much against what's going on, what Israel is doing. So just to put that out. But anyway, what is going on there? Why is the UK supporting this? And it's difficult, but you almost really do have to say that is genocide. And I was always thinking genocide is wiping out a people. But the truth is, I really think maybe that is what Israel's goal is to wipe out Palestinians, because I think it's kind of like they have a guilty conscience. They came and they stole that land from the rightful owners of that land that have been there for many, many, many generations. And the Israelis of today, of course, they're European people. They're not from that land area, even if they can play like they are. And to wipe out their guilt, they need to wipe out the people. That's just a theory. And I'm not saying I necessarily 100% believe that, but I'm finding that could be something plausible. The big boys in Great Britain are going to benefit as well from why they support Israel. And apparently it's the gas. It's the gas and the oil off the coast of Gaza. And of course, I've been hearing about this anyway for at least 10 years, maybe 15, I don't know, for quite a long time. And I would think, like I thought then, I remember Israeli military pestering Gaza fishing boats, shooting them, sinking them, and all that sort of stuff. And this was a long time ago. So I was thinking that they already had complete control over that, and and we're just acting that out. But I guess the area in question is called the Med Yavne, and it's something, and there's something called Or, and Gaza Marina, and that's a major gas field there. It's 22 miles off the coast and 610 meters deep, and I'm believing that means 610 meters below the surface of the water. I don't know if it's the depth of the gas reserves once you hit solid ground after that. It didn't specify what I saw. But Israel has already gotten a lot of money out of that. They've gotten, I believe, the amount is, 47 billion. I mentioned that in the last video. 47 billion worth US dollars. Wow, there's a big dog. Look at the size of this poodle. Standard, I guess. Acts like a puppy. Probably is. That's a big puppy. It's like a friendly dog, though. Okay. Many are also believing that NATO is preparing for some sort of a military operation there. And, you know, obviously you saw the American ships are over there. A lot of firepower. What is it? Two battle carrier groups there ready to defend Israel in case some other, I don't know if you want to call them Muslim nations or whatever, want to uphold the rights of the people that actually live there. And they can't have that. The Americans can't have that. We have to enforce evil. Man, my nose is running. Lots of people running around. They always, wherever I'm sitting with a camera, that's where all the people are coming. So, anyway, the reason why they're saying NATO is because there's also other people there, not just the United States. They have the Dutch there, and the Dutch have brought, and I'm not sure what air base, maybe it did say, Hercules airplanes there. They're doing a lot of planning, and they're doing training in Holland, I guess, in Europe, training for if they possibly have to invade, I guess. I don't know, or thinking that they can invade. They're not going to invade Iran, not that easily, not like they think they are. I think Iran is a much different sort of people than they think they are. So there's a lot of countries, as you hear Erdogan, and you hear so many other people. They're talking real tough, but they're not doing anything. And I guess it was the Emir of Qatar. His wife came out and said some really nice things, and of course some, I guess, veiled things about Israel, kind of saying that they're, inhuman. So you'd have to look for that, find it. It's very nice. I mean, I used to listen to and I think now, since some of the big shots in Ukraine are now coming to the conclusion that they're going to lose against Russia, they're now discussing what it means to be considered Ukrainian. And of course, it's coming down to language. And one side says, although many speak Russian, they are still Ukrainian. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing or whatever. And the other side says, if you do not speak Ukrainian, then you're not a Ukrainian. You know, like I said, there's some important things to both sides, and but they don't necessarily think, you know, this way in other countries or other kind of cultures, because you look at, for example, the Swiss in Switzerland. Actually, the Swiss language, I mean, is considered by many to be a German dialect. You know, that's a Swiss, because I've heard that a lot when I was in Europe. You know, speaking Swiss, for example, and like I said, it's like German, and of course German people can understand it perfectly, but there's a lot of different types of German dialects as well, you know. So Plattdeutsch so, is one of them. I heard some of that when I lived in Bremen. But Switzerland, they have three main nationalities. Well, not nationalities, they have one nationality, which is Swiss, but there's three languages, as you know. Italian in one part, French in another part, and German in another part. And they get along fine. And nobody says you have to speak Swiss or any other kind of language. Matter of fact, I even heard there's other languages in Switzerland too. Some languages may be thought to be dead. There's even a group of people there, I believe, that speak Latin, and it's one of the only places on earth, and I guess it's a very small group, at least I've heard this. It's the only place where they actually do speak Latin, or a dialect of Latin. So that's interesting. That's an interesting fact. And but you have to think, well, what is this about Ukraine? It shows, unfortunately, that they're not tolerant. At least some of these other people. I'm not saying all Ukrainians. I'm just saying those people, and of course the ones in charge right now. And Zelensky, when he first got there, he didn't even speak any Ukrainian when he got into office. Of course he knew some little words, but he didn't speak Ukrainian. He had to learn Ukrainian while he was president. Isn't that incredible? Okay, now let's jump to Israel. I'm going to jump back to Ukraine in a little bit. My hands are getting frozen. things are getting frozen here. You see there's some ice on top of some cars. There's even one right next to me. I'll show you. Because it's been snowing sometimes here in this part of Europe. First I'll show you the snow, otherwise you'll forget about it. Last night I was out in the evening and some ice crystals are starting to form on pedals. My fingers are getting kind of frozen, just in case you all want to feel sorry for me. Maybe I should face the other way. Looks like the light is from this side. Okay. In Gaza, Israel cut off the water, I think, to a couple of hospitals. And they're doing some really nasty stuff, and of course they're denying it. And you've been hearing a lot of that. And they say that the Palestinians control the media, the narrative. Maybe because some people putting things up on TikTok, I don't know, but you can't tell me that, because guess what? When you get out of the Israeli military, a lot of people, they get a second job, and that's working for Israel online. And to go all over online and to get rid of anything that is anti-Israel. And they pay people quite a bit, and there's, believe me, thousands of them doing that. So you cannot say that it is because Palestinians control that, because the Palestinians, they don't pay people to do this. It's just, I think, if you have people that are pro-Palestinian, it's because they're pro-cause and they know what the Palestinian people are going through there. You know, and somebody wrote to me in a comment, they said, "You're too hard on Israel." Well, you know, you have to tell the truth. So that's what I'm doing. And in that one hospital, or at least the one I'm talking about, and there's a couple others, you know, where they cut off water and doing all sorts of things. One hospital lost all patients that were on intensive care. All of them died, all of them. And I heard that was 2 newborn babies also that were born prematurely because of this operation. They were born, you know, before their time. And these babies, of course, were in incubators and they died, of course. One reason is they didn't have electricity. And even though they had some generators and they were using whatever fuel they did have to keep these babies alive and to keep the incubators working, you know, time, nobody stops time. It's a train you can't stop, and they ran out of fuel, and of course the children perished too. And even in this Al-Shifa hospital, some are dying of thirst because Israel blew up the water supply. You know, in a hospital. Great idea, huh? Man alive. No, but they're a bunch of nice guys. That's what the nice guys do, you know, is they do things like this. Terrible, isn't it? And the doctors, they're not allowed to move from one building to the next, and they have no communication with other doctors, so they cannot. If one doctor in some other building wants some kind of medication for some patient, if they have that medication, which most of the time I don't think they do, then they can't bring that medication. There might be some place that has a storage room that has that medication in it, and right next door, patients may die because they can't get that medication there. So if they go outside, they get killed by snipers because they have snipers posted all over the place. You know? Yeah. But this is all Trump's fault, like everything is, right? Anyway, no, you know, you heard Trump say, like a day before they started all this PR stuff, you know, Israel, with this thing about saying that Hamas is underneath the hospital and they have to bomb it and things like that. Trump was saying that Israel is doing very bad PR. And of course, that's when they started coming up with all this BS. And I thought that Israel is very good at this stuff, but it turns out they're not. They're really bad, and everybody's finding out all these faults. I'll get into that in a minute. They tried to pass off. There were notes from a reporter. They're like bullet point notes or whatever the heck you call that kind of stuff. And Israel showed this, I think, they filmed this and said it was terrorist plans from Hamas, but then people tore that apart immediately. They said, hey, we speak Arabic, and because they showed the notes, unfortunately they weren't that smart. They weren't smart enough to not show the notes. But even if they didn't show the notes, how is anybody to believe that a piece of paper has notes on it with Hamas plans? But anyway, the notes were from a reporter, and the people that knew Arabic saw this film footage and said those are reporters' notes. And then they found like guns. They found 2 old rusted AK-47s. I guess it probably wouldn't fire. And they said, see, there's weapons down here. All sorts of stuff. And I think they're still trying to pass that off as being some sort of a big command post from Hamas that has 2 rusted guns there and some reporters' notes, and there were medical equipment. It was really pathetic. It was really pathetic. I don't know if you'll find that online anywhere. It was on Telegram. I saw that. A lot of people were posting that, and some were, I don't know. It would be funny if it was not causing a lot of deaths and being supported by the West and all that. Anyway, it's all failure. All their posturing and propaganda. It's terrible. Terrible that they're doing that sort of thing, and that they resort to that, making up lies. And as I was just saying, a lot of this probably does have to do with those gas fields. They're out for resources. They're out for money. All this stuff is going for money. Like I said, fascism, government, and big money interests working together to screw over the little guys. Because Ukraine is not getting all the attention anymore, Zelensky says Russia is planning another Maidan. And he doesn't seem to realize that Maidan, that wasn't done by Russia. That was done by his buddies. That was done by his buddies, the United States, with the snipers. And of course, I think they even had a lot of these snipers, and of course they had them on Russian TV, the ones that were shooting at the people down there during the protests. And I believe they were, I know the ones I saw, they were Polish people, and they felt really, really terrible about this. I don't know. But I don't know if they put them in jail or what, because they actually shot and killed people. I believe the Polish, or the snipers were also from some other country, but I'm not sure which country that was. So a lot of nice quiet buildings and things like that around here. Well, maybe not a bad place to live, in spite of the fact that there's no trees on the front side. Here's some here, but they've lost their leaves already. You can see that in the background. Okay. So Zelensky says that Russia is trying, I guess his words were, I don't know if it was in English, but they translated it, if it wasn't in English, it said to wreak havoc on Ukrainian society. And he doesn't seem to notice that it's actually the West and he himself that are creating all the havoc that's going on there. Let's jump back again. I'm going back and forth. I'll go back here now to Israel. Netanyahu, his advisor, Mark Regev, and I remember seeing him, some years ago. Maybe it was about 8 or 10 years ago, when he was a kind of a big shot on, I think, was CNN or something like that. Back when I was kind of stupid still and thinking that CNN was a viable outlet for getting information. But he's a crazy guy. He's saying that the 6,000 plus, I believe, because it's definitely at least 6,000 children that have died already. And if it was even 5,000 something, the last, I don't know, I'm not even keeping track anymore. I know I remember seeing it was like 5,100 at one time, and that they knew for a fact that there were at least 1,000 children, at least at that time, underneath the rubble, unaccounted for. So there's actually over 6,000 children that have died here. He says that this 6,000 plus children that have died are not from Israeli bombs. It was really ridiculous what I heard, He's trying to say that the Palestinians killed their own children in order to dominate the media narrative. So I guess what they're trying to do as you see in the earlier part I put out, they're trying to say that Palestine is doing all this stuff somehow so that they can keep dominating the media or whatever. Really ridiculous stuff. Next thing you're going to hear is these children are acting, these babies that are 2 months old, they can't even speak. They're acting. They're probably actors or crisis actors or something. You never know what these people are going to say. It's just really sick, really sick stuff. He also said, and this is another one. He says that the burned bodies from October 7th that Israel originally said were Israelis burned by Hamas, he's now saying that these bodies were Hamas activists killed by Israeli missiles. So first they're Israelis, now they're Hamas, and let's look at this building here, standing in front of. Don't jump! But the real truth is that these were Israelis killed by Israelis. And why is this? I think they either went hog wild, maybe their directions were to kill everybody, or maybe these whoever these soldiers were, they were maybe unexperienced, and maybe they were told, like in the United States, what they told us, I remember. They said, kill them all and let God sort them out. I remember hearing that. How many times do you hear that? A lot of you people out there, you were in the military, you know that. Kill them all, let God sort them out, I tell you, you get some things when you're in the military, it kind of makes you sick. I say, who comes up with this crap, I remember it was my third day, did I even have my hair cut yet? And I don't think so. I don't think I did. I think we were supposed to be getting our uniforms at that time. And they said when some drill sergeant steps on the grass, we're supposed to yell out, blood makes the grass grow, kill, kill, kill. I said, oh, wow. I started thinking, what the heck have I got myself into? That was like when you're on my third day, and I'm sitting there thinking, damn, I'm hoping I'm not going to be having to put up with crap like this the whole time. Luckily I didn't, so it wasn't so bad in the military. I don't know, now you probably have to get sex changes or something like that. And I think matter of fact, they're getting rid of this mandate that you have to get your COVID shot. So, I don't know. Maybe they're trying to throw off this woke stuff as well. I've been hearing. I don't know if that's true. But in any case, when you hear these versions of their stories, it's obviously and I was saying this right after this happened, like I told you all, because it was just too overwhelming, too many witnesses that it was put out. A lot of these Israelis coming out and saying that Israel had killed their own people. They had already put that out, and now the Russians coming back are saying that. But it's that Israel does not want to admit that they killed their own people. So that's all that's all that you have to take away from that. They did it, and they just don't want to admit it. And I wouldn't want to admit it either if I did it. Neither would you. Unfortunately, terrible stuff. So they blamed it on Hamas. Surprise, surprise, huh? Yeah, but there's other people that have also been saying, I think it was even Mike Jones, he put out, I think, he probably knew about the same time that I did, but he maybe looked into it a little bit more or something, saw a few more witness statements, and then he put it on his site that Israel killed Israelis. So, and yeah, maybe I'll get censored for even saying that. But now the Russians are saying that. They're coming back, and then there's some lady said that she had made a good friend of another Russian, and they killed her. And Israel did, of course. A lot of these people have dual passports. They have, I don't know, Palestinian or Israeli or whatever, and Russian. And that's one reason why they were down there. And I'm beginning to wonder. I'm beginning to wonder if Hamas killed anybody at all. I'm wondering if Hamas was even there. When you see this, maybe it was the right time to make some invasion for some other reasons, and that's why they did it when they did do that. You can't believe anything what the media says anyway, you know. So how are you going to tell it? You know, if you're not there, I'm not there. And then they're going to lie to you anyway. Not difficult to figure out, so you can't say that anything is a sure thing anymore. Except when there's these witnesses came out, and it looked pretty real to me. That's why I reported it that way. I'm not saying I'm a great reporter. I'm just saying that it was obvious. Facts on the ground. It's opposite of what the truth is, you know, or what they're putting out is the opposite of what the truth is. There's even programs now on the BBC, believe it or not, the BBC, that are mentioning what happened. The truth is what I'm getting at. I think it's because there's so many people that are putting this out right now, and it's going to be too undeniable. So even the BBC is going along with that. I'm thinking did MSNBC. I'm not. They're starting to say sometimes the truth as well. I don't know. Sometimes. So let's go back to Europe and Ukraine again. Now Finland has closed more border crossings. And it's now getting to be like the border between Lithuania and Belarus. Somebody was just there, Dave, the one who's going to be having the, having our show, his show, actually our show, because I'll be part of it, I suppose. And he was there going to get some equipment for the live stream that we're going to be doing. He went to Lithuania because he has some stuff there. And what you see near the border, the signs, it's incredible. I'm going to try to upload those onto this video. So maybe you'll see them right now if I can do it. Let's look at this building here. Standing in front of. Don't jump! But the real truth is that these were Israelis killed by Israelis. And why is this? I think they either went hog wild, maybe their directions were to kill everybody, or maybe these whoever these soldiers were, they were maybe unexperienced, and maybe they were told, like in the United States, you know what they told us, I remember. They said, kill them all and let God sort them out. I remember hearing that. How many times do you hear that? I mean, a lot of you people out there, you were in the military, you know that. Kill them all and let God sort them out, you know. I tell you, you get some things when you're in the military, you know, it kind of makes you sick to say, who comes up with this crap, you know? I remember it was my third day, did I even have my hair cut yet? And I don't think so. I don't think I did. You know, I think we were supposed to be getting our uniforms at that time. And they said when some drill sergeant steps on the grass, we're supposed to yell out, blood makes the grass grow, kill, kill, kill. You know, I said, oh, wow. I started thinking, what the heck have I got myself into? That was like when you're on my third day, and I'm sitting there thinking, damn, I'm hoping I'm not going to be having to put up with crap like this the whole time. Luckily, I didn't, so it wasn't so bad in the military. I don't know, now you probably have to get sex changes or something like that. And I think matter of fact, they're getting rid of this mandate that you have to get your COVID shot. So, I don't know. Maybe they're trying to throw off this woke stuff as well. I've been hearing. I don't know if that's true. But in any case, when you hear these versions of their stories, you know, it's and I was saying this right after this happened, like I told you all, because it was just too overwhelming, too many witnesses that it was put out. A lot of these Israelis coming out and saying that Israel had killed their own people. They had already put that out, and now the Russians coming back are saying that. But it's that Israel does not want to admit that they killed their own people. So that's all that's all that you have to take away from that. They did it, and they just don't want to admit it. And you know, I wouldn't want to admit it either if I did it. Neither would you. Unfortunately, terrible stuff. So they blamed it on Hamas. Surprise, surprise, huh? Yeah, but there's other people that have also been saying, I think it was even Mike Jones, he put out, I think, he probably knew about the same time that I did, but he maybe looked into it a little bit more or something, saw a few more witness statements, and then he put it on his site that Israel killed Israelis. So, and yeah, maybe I'll get censored for even saying that. But now the Russians are saying that. They're coming back, and then there's some lady said that she had made a good friend of another Russian and they killed her. And Israel did, of course. You know, a lot of these people have dual passports. They have, I don't know, Palestinian or Israeli or whatever, and Russian. And that's one reason why they were down there. And I'm beginning to wonder. I'm beginning to wonder if Hamas killed anybody at all. I'm wondering if Hamas was even there. You know, when you see this, maybe it was the right time to make some invasion for some other reasons, and that's why they did it when they did do that. You can't believe anything what the media says anyway, you know. So how are you going to tell it? You know, if you're not there, I'm not there, and then they're going to lie to you anyway. Not difficult to figure out, so you can't say that anything is a sure thing anymore. Except when there's these witnesses came out, and it looked pretty real to me. That's why I reported it that way. I'm not saying I'm a great reporter. I'm just saying that was obvious. Facts on the ground. It's opposite of what the truth is, you know, or what they're putting out is the opposite of what the truth is. There's even programs now on the BBC, believe it or not, the BBC that are mentioning what happened. The truth is what I'm getting at. I think it's because there's so many people that are putting this out right now, and it's going to be too undeniable. So even the BBC is going along with that. I don't think it did MSNBC. I'm not. They're starting to say sometimes the truth as well. I don't know. Sometimes. So let's go back to Europe and Ukraine again. Now, Finland has closed more border crossings. And it's now getting to be like the border between Lithuania and Belarus. Somebody was just there, Dave, the one who's going to be having the, having our show, his show, actually, our show, because I'll be part of it, I suppose. And he was there going to get some equipment for the live stream that we're going to be doing. He went to Lithuania because he has some stuff there. And what you see near the border, the signs, it's incredible. I'm going to try to upload those onto this video. So maybe you'll see them right now if I can do it. Maybe not, because it's from a different platform, and I might not be able to get it in there. I'm not a great genius on this stuff. So anyway, it took him an entire day from 6 in the morning, and he got home to Minsk after midnight. I think he closer to 2 o'clock or something. So you're sitting there the entire day trying to get through because there's so many cars going through at one point in time. And of course they like to punish people for wanting to go into Belarus. And you'll see that if I can put up these signs that just says, you're going into Belarus at your own risk. They may never let you come back. They said occupied by the Kremlin. And these are real traffic signs and things. And things at the border, you'll see if I can post it. If not, you have to come into the podcast. You'll have to watch that on our live stream, and we'll be posting that sort of thing there on the first few, I believe, and that should be in about a week, in the next coming week here, I'm hoping. In Estonia, they also want to close the borders of Russia to Russia. So there'll always be places to cross. I'm not saying closing it means you can't ever go, but it's going to be like much more difficult. It's going to be like the old days probably when they had the Soviet Union and the Iron Curtain. So they're trying to make it like that again. And if John McCain was around, he'd be happy. He'd be so happy because, I'm sure Lindsey Graham is, because that's what they want to see. They want to see this, and they want this confrontation so they can come out and look like some big heroes, that they're tough. We're gonna get those Ruskies, those evil Russians. We're gonna get them. So, but they really just don't want people to come over here to see that the place is developing. As I said, a lot of building here, a lot more building than in probably most American cities. So they don't want you to come to the other side, because we're going to be broadcasting to you people from the other side. That's going to be the name of that channel. So just stay tuned and make sure that you are ready to watch that, because we're going to be kind of like a resistance. You'll see. Okay. A lot of these Ukrainians are still trying to leave, even though there's Ukrainians that are trying to go back because they're finding out it's not so nice in the West as they thought it was, or it's getting worse. I don't know. And a lot of like Belarusians, when they move, because they're brainwashed into thinking everything is so much better over wherever, Poland and the United States and all, then a lot of them do want to come back. And a lot of them are staying, they're trying to insist that it's better there, even though they know that it's not. And there's even people like on the radio and things like that, they call in and comment and they find out how expensive everything is. Sure, you earn more money, but then everything costs much, much more. And so at the end of the month, you have far less left in your pocket than you did if you were maybe over here in Belarus. Prices, over there are just too high, and things are getting better over here. Slowly you're getting paid more and more as time goes by. I can't remember. I put out in one video like that there was a percentage of how much more people are getting paid, or something. A lot of pay raises or something, at least in the public sector, meaning governmental type jobs, which there's a lot of them. And then they got a lot better pay, and then the pensions went up as well. What you get paid for pension. Slowly, I think it should be much, much, much better as time goes by. I guess it's gone up a real huge amount since I first came to Belarus. I think an engineer back then was paid like $100 a month or something like that. That was considered kind of a decent job. And I think now, I don't know what they're paid. I guess it depends on where you're working. If you're in Minsk, you earn a little bit better. That's why there's a lot of building in Minsk. Everybody wants to get here because you get paid a little bit better. Okay. But a lot of these guys that are trying to get away from Ukraine, they're swimming across rivers. It's very, very cold right now. I'll tell you what, it's near freezing. The rivers are near freezing. So these people, I don't know if they're doing it on this day, but at least like a week ago they were, just before it was getting really cold, I believe. Douglas McGregor, he's now come out and said what I was mentioning a few months ago, that Russia now has the most powerful military on earth. His words were, "I sure wouldn't want to go to war with them at this point. They are far better positioned to fight us than we are to fight them. Make peace, you fools," talking to the US government. And he's absolutely right on that. Who has the better nuclear weapons, the faster missiles? Who has better helicopters? Who has better submarines? I mean, Russia only has, I guess, one aircraft carrier. Who has better tanks? Who has better air defenses? Russia. So, Russia. So, Seymour Hersh, let's see. Yes, Seymour Hersh, he stated that Hamas and Israel are in peace negotiations, and the CIA director, William Burns, is kind of like the one hosting this, I believe. And, this is like secret, and I think other news lines are not, of course, recording this. Just like his Nord Stream thing too, they're probably saying that was fake when it turns out that's the right, that was pretty much the right thing what happened, and all the other stuff that come out with later is all fake. So Seymour Hersh is some guy you got to reckon with. But it doesn't mean, since it's secret, the way what I've been noticing is when these things are secret, that means that the United States and Israel does not necessarily want to honor whatever agreements they make. So I wouldn't cross my fingers. Hold my breath on that one. You could cross your fingers. And then I heard that Netanyahu, he canceled the deal. And then I'm hearing again that it's back on again. I don't know. That's some of the latest news. Cancels and goes back and forth. And this was right before I made this video. And I don't know when it's going to be uploaded. I don't know if there's going to be anything announced by the time I put this up or not. You never know. Also, Some latest news. Donald Trump has been found guilty of inciting the insurrection. But yet they're still letting him run. I guess something like the 14th Amendment doesn't apply or something. I don't know. But at the same time, they're now releasing footage of a lot of these films. I think thousands of hours, they say, of film footage of that day inside the Capitol and all that. And I've just seen some of it, and they're just, the police are walking and escorting very nicely these so-called insurrectionists. You can see this. It looks like they're going on a tour. It looks like it's a tour of the Capitol. It's nobody had any guns, but it's an insurrection. But I think what they're trying to do now is to find something against Trump by saying his words and his actions or something incited an insurrection or whatever. That doesn't hold much weight either, but that's what they're going with. And actually, that's about all I have right now. I'm happy that you all joined me. If you haven't subscribed, go ahead and put the subscribe button there, because I think it helps me out a little bit. I think it will, what is it? How it works with YouTube. I think maybe the more subscribers, the more times you get the like button. If you push the like button, I guess then it gets more exposure, because I don't think it's getting a lot of exposure. I guess my channel's already kind of suppressed anyways. If YouTube doesn't like the information that's getting put out, they'll suppress your channel and they won't send it so much to other people. Everybody knows that, so that's how that works out. It's not just, well, it is algorithms, and it's other things as well. So thanks for joining me once again, and I'll see you on the next one. So bye-bye.